Hey, what's going on, y'all? So everybody knows about this Dr. Dre Nicole Young divorce. It's been in the media for some time now, and finally, I'm getting around to making videos on it and giving my commentary and my feedback on this situation. And I just think, divorce is just crazy right now. And I think Dr. Dre's divorce is evidence that the institute of a marriage is officially dead. There's no reason for a man to get married anymore. And if you do get married, you run the chance of ruin if the woman decides to leave you. And to be fair, I think women do need some security. But before I even go even deeper into my little commentary, let's just go ahead and watch the video and I'll come back with my commentary at the end.
Mad at me because I can finally afford to provide my family with groceries.
Yeah, groceries and $2 million a month in spousal support. Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, is requesting a whole lot of money amid their divorce. According to court docs obtained by ET, Nicole is seeking $1,936,399 per month, people. Oh, and she's also asking for her attorney's fees and costs to be covered, totaling $5 million. ET has reached out to attorneys for Nicole and Dre for comment. ET confirmed in June that Nicole filed for divorce. The two tied the knot in 1996 and recently celebrated their 24th wedding anniversary. According to the docs, Nicole wants the spousal support to begin retroactively from September 1st so she can continue to enjoy the lifestyle she enjoyed during her marriage. Attorneys for Nicole claim that she is having difficulty paying her bills and that the music mogul, who she says controls all their assets, has been exerting financial control over his ex. How? Well, Nicole's team says Dre's team reviews her bills and then he decides to approve them or not. While the papers state that Nicole doesn't work, her attorneys claim that she played an important role in Dre's career, that she was integral in naming his record label Aftermath, and should be able to continue the lifestyle she had before their divorce. And get this, the documents also go into detail about their lifestyle, and it's luxury AF. We're talking 5 homes in LA, a private jet, lavish cars, 12 security guards, 7 housekeepers, a private chef. You get the picture. Anyway, apparently things are getting pretty ugly between Nicole and Dre. She claims he kicked her out of their Brentwood house in the middle of the night in a drunken rage. So she's been living in their Malibu house, except she says he has threatened to sell that home and allegedly texts her to not spend 1 more cent. She also goes into detail about their premarital agreement, which she claims she was forced to sign under extreme duress on their wedding day. Meanwhile, Forbes reports that Dre was worth $800 million as of 2019.
It's an American dream. It's like I said, it's some guys that came from nothing that created something that's just amazing. That's like bigger than life, to be perfectly honest with you.
His fortune is due in part to his successful headphone line, Beats by Dr. Dre, which Apple acquired for $3 billion in 2014. But of course, the rapper got his start in the 1980s with the group NWA. Their story was depicted in the 2015 film Straight Outta Compton.
This movie really reminds me of the American Dream. Is that fair to say?
Pretty much so. It's Rags to Riches story. We just got together and did this thing, and it's really crazy that it's just 10 years of my 30-year career, and they're making a movie about it. So I'm so excited about that, man.
All right, so you've seen the video. You've seen the ridiculous amount of money that she's asking this man to pay for spouse support. $2 million. Even 50 Cent has called this woman out on $2 million. Like, that is so much money to ask for in the divorce settlement. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I get it. Dr. Dre is worth $800 million. And apparently, I guess she's been with him since 1996. So she's claiming that she helped build that empire. So now, if it's true that she's helped build that empire, then yes, she's entitled to $2 million a month, right? But she has to be able to prove it. She has to be able to prove that she contributed to him making $800 million, right? That's just my opinion, right? Now, typically, the way divorces work is that the laws are written so that she is automatically a business partner in any venture that he undertakes while they're married. And I think this is one of the things that men aren't really aware of. And I'm speaking loosely here. I'm saying business partner, but it doesn't really say business partner. Basically, they're your partner. They've helped you while you during that course of time. They've helped you, and if you've made a substantial amount of money or any money during that period of time, then they're entitled to some of that money, right? Some of the shared income. And I get that. I get that. And I think what most men don't understand is that you're going to have to pay in a situation where you've been with a woman and basically you end up divorcing her, right? And most men don't understand that they don't have a choice when it comes down to divorce. A lot of times these divorces are brought on by women, and women can force these issues. And what happens is that when you end up in divorce court, sometimes lawyers will see that there's money there, and a lot of times they'll offer services to either party for free in the hopes that they'll get this ridiculous divorce settlement, and then they'll just take a portion of that divorce settlement. So a lot of men just aren't conscious of this. And this case, Dr. Dre's case, is evidence of why the institution of marriage is pretty much dead. And the reason I say this is because if you're a middle class man and you end up having, let's say, a typical 2 to 3 kids, and you were married, and then your wife decides she wants to get divorced and she wants to take the kids, you're pretty much screwed. You're pretty much screwed for the next 18 years, depending on the age of the kids, right? Because first off, you're going to have to pay a significant amount of spousal support. And then second, you're going to have to turn around and you're going to have to pay child support. You're looking at giving up anywhere to probably 11, I say about 800 to 1200 bucks a month for the child support and spousal support. So you're basically going to reduce your income by almost half. It won't look that way up front, because when you divide up everything, it's going to look like you're paying a small amount of money for everything. But at the end of the day, when you count up all the numbers, you're going to be giving up probably 30 to 45% of your income. And once you hit the 45% mark, it's going to end up almost being half. And this whole situation can just really throw you into financial ruin. But there's a better way. And the reason I'm actually making this video is because I think, as a man, and again, this is no disrespect to women. I think some women, they really do help their partners start businesses. I think women out there are lots of women out there who already have successful business, and they already have income. And in those situations, the man comes along and they could probably do the opposite to a successful woman. But there is a better way. And I think the better way is to never get married. Just simply tell the person that, hey, if you're a man, just say, hey, look, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. I want to basically provide for you through sickness and health. But we both have to realize that divorces is real. Divorces are real, and you could probably change your mind about our relationship at any given time. And if that happens, I want to be prepared for, in the event either of us decide that this relationship is not going to work out. And not getting married is going to help you do that, right? So if you don't get married, you guys can still move in with each other. You still can have all the benefits of getting married, except for the social security benefits, right? Because that's essentially one of the excuses that people use to get married, is because if that person, one of the family member dies, then they can get social security benefits. Well, I mean, truth be told, Social Security isn't all that great. And I think that if you have a partner, someone that you want to be with for the rest of your life, hopefully you're thinking above and beyond Social Security in the event one of you dies. Hopefully you have some type of life insurance policy. Hopefully you have a financial plan that you're putting in place to cover each other in case one of you dies, right? Now, Social Security is still going to cover the children no matter what. So if the man dies, the mother can still collect Social Security on the children off the man because he was the father. So the children are going to be covered by Social Security no matter what. So that just leaves us with the marriage. And I think you have to sit down and you have to have an honest conversation with your partner about what you plan to do in the event that you separate. Don't get married, but just plan on how you're going to work out building a life together and how you're going to work out negotiating the assets if you guys separate, because we both know a lot of these divorces, they get nasty, they get ugly, and with each other to retaliate in the event that there's a divorce. So an example of such a plan would probably entail having maybe a joint account where you guys can decide how much you want to contribute to the joint account, and you can save money together, or you can invest money together. Forget saving, you can invest money together, and you can decide on who contributes what and how much each of you contributes to that savings account. And with that savings account, I keep saying savings account, with that investment account, right? It could be a stock plan, it could be real estate, it could be anything. However, you guys decide you want to invest. So, with that, you can decide how much you want to invest, and then you can decide upfront how much each of you are going to take away in the event that you have a divorce. And that way there's no surprises, there's no there's no fighting. You're walking away with what you agreed to walk away with, right? So if you guys decide you want to invest money together, and let's say you build up an investment account or investment portfolio that's worth over $40,000, then it's really simple. You get 20, she gets 20, and that's it, or whatever you agreed on. If it's 30, 30, 70, then whatever. So it's really simple. And then another option is to essentially decide that you take care of your finances, I'll take care of my finances, and if we separate, we just both walk away and just take care of our kids, right? So that's another option. And sometimes that option doesn't work too well, because typically I won't say, I can only speak to me as a man. Me as a man, I'm not really too concerned with what a woman can bring financially to the table. I'm more concerned about what a woman can bring to the table in terms of my overall happiness, right? And that's going to be in the love and romance department. I'm not really looking for a woman to bring any bread to the table, and that's just me, right? But because of that, I know that I could potentially end up in a situation where I would, if I was to get divorced, I would end up walking away where I would be paying a woman. So that's why I would never get married, right? So what I would probably do if I found somebody that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, but nothing is guaranteed, I would probably say, well, hey, look, spend 20% of, pay for 20% or 30% of the household utilities, and then maybe spend probably 10% in our investment account. And then if we ever decide to split, then hey, you can just take 50% of that, right? But again, that's what's going to work for me. You have to decide as a man, as a woman, what you're going to be comfortable with, and what you're going to want in the event that you guys separate. And then when it comes down to the kids, I don't want a situation where I'm going to end up paying somebody else to basically be the custodian of my children. So more than likely I would approach, a woman. I would just say, hey, look, we both agree that we're going to take care of our children as a family, and then if we separate, then we would just have joint custody where we'll have 2 years on, 2 years off. And then there would just be a base amount of money that each of us would pay each other, right? So the way this would work is for the first 2 years, she would get the kids, and then I would pay, let's say, $500 a month in child support. And then the 2 years following that, I would get the kids, and then she would pay $500. And the reason I throw that in there is because I want to remove any incentive for a woman to basically ostracize me from my kids. And I think one of the major problems with the divorces today and child support today is that there's a benefit to being the custodian of the kids, and is that you're going to the benefit is that you're going to be the provider of the children, and that means any money that's going to be paid for the children's housing and housing expenses and the children's expenses can be added on to your income. So if you meet a person who basically makes $100,000 a year, and you are and you get in Illinois, you can get 25% or 20% per child. That means that the custodian's household income was just increased to $20,000 to $25,000. In addition to that, they're also going to get some tax benefits. So, in my opinion, if both of the parents are equal and they're working similar jobs, it's going to be a benefit for one of the parents to be the sole custodian, and they're going to get that extra income. They're going to get the tax incentives, and they can manage that income, and they can find ways to use it to their advantage. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm trying to avoid the argument where people are going to come out and say, oh, well, it's going to cost more than $20,000 a year to raise kids, so on and so forth. That's neither here nor there. The point is that you're increasing your household income, and if you end up in a situation where you can't work, you're still covered because you're still going to have that income coming in. And if you're smart and if you're a good manager, you can find ways to essentially cut the cost of raising kids. And I'm not going to go back and forth on that issue. Definitely leave your question comments below if you think I'm wrong, you think I'm off. But I'm just throwing it out there because a lot of times people have relatives and they belong to churches and community groups, and they can get, hand-me-down clothes, and they can get access to supplies, and they can cut costs on daycare expenses. There's lots of ways to reduce your costs when it comes down to raising children, so that's pretty much it for this video. I think that marriage is pretty much dead for a man, and you can see reasons like this. Dr. Dre's in a situation where he is going to have to continue to pay expensive lawyers to fight this ridiculous claim. Everybody knows this claim is ridiculous, but still, you still have to defend yourself in court, and that's going to take money. And 9 times out of 10, the lawyers are working together to drag out this legal battle so they can eat up money and legal expenses. So this potential battle could go on for another 2 years and probably cost 20 to $30 million easy, just on the legal fees alone, right? So that's it for this video. Leave your questions, comments below. Let me know what you think, and please like, share, and subscribe.